In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. The last talk number 6. And I was debating whether we're going to speak about money only. There is a lot of stuff in premarital. There is something on a side note before going into the financial and the money management important topic is marriage is a relationship between imperfect couples that they never give up on each other. Marriage is a relationship between imperfect couples that both of them, they never give up on each other or on themselves or on God. Because the Hollywood style is portraying things that it is just perfect, you are always happy, there is no problems and happy ending and all this this halo of unrealistic expectation is not working out. Even one of the goals of Gottman in marital couples, he is saying that if all people said that we have a good enough marriage, this is a great success. Again, Gottman says if we convince the people that their goal will be to have a good enough marriage, that this is a great success. Because all the challenges and all the things that is happening, the thing that I wanted to share with you for those who are premarital, if there is issues that is previous issues that is unresolved, previous issues that are unresolved before marriage, highly recommend that these issues should be resolved before marriage as well. And I will give you a story. I received a text, couple, premarital, they need help. So why couple premarital, they need help? They should be, this is the fancy time, this is the very, very emotional time. So I told them, fine. I sat with them. We did the inventory of the premarital, the prepare, enrich. And the report is 24 pages. We are in page number 1, the first half part of it. And it asks how many times you have broken up. How many times did you break up in premarital? Both of them said 4 or 5 times. Then I said, you know what, no. Just wait. We're not moving from here. And I didn't even read the report. I read 4 or 5 times breaking up, then I told them, well, let us pause, zoom in, and tell me what's going on. And I asked them only one question. I drew a line with a timeline. 0 time when they started knowing each other, and now maybe 5 years. And I asked them, I want you to tell me exactly how many times did you break up, what was the events, what happened, who broke up, who restored back the relationship, the details. And the guy was saying, I'm not sure. I don't think that much. I don't remember anything that much. And the lady, number 1, this age, this date, this location, this happened, all vivid, very clear, vivid, strong memory with all the feelings and all the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. And I flipped the page and I was writing down the timeline. I was writing down the timeline, all the times that they broke up, and I flipped the page. And I didn't do anything else. And she collapsed. Because of the repeated hurt and pain that she has been taking, one time after one time after one time after one time, the issues are not resolved since the beginning. And they are telling me, we are going to get married in 8 weeks. You better move forward quickly. So I told them, your timeline is different than my timeline. If we are not matching our timelines together, I'm so sorry. But I'm not seeing things happening right way. What happened is she never saw the events of breaking up and remember them together. It's all in the subconscious, all in the memory, all in the memory, all the memory. When it went up one time together, she collapsed. And I asked them, a long story short, but it was only one session. All of this, I sat with them one session. This is what happened. I told them, my recommendation, personal therapy for you, personal therapy for you. When you do at least 3 to 6 months personal therapy, then I am there for you to do a couples therapy and we'll move forward. And that I knew this afterwards. And in that day, the girl once stepped outside of the office in the church. She finally decided that this is not going to work out, and she broke up with him permanently. And in order for him to get back at her, he got married after 3 months. And this is one of the most things that I cannot even comprehend. Is that you are rushing a marriage in 3 months. Tell your ex that you are loved and you are valued and you are good to go. When there is issues, and do you think that the 69% of the issues of that guy is gone in the second relationship? He's carrying it with him everywhere. And that's why the idea of divorcing and remarrying is a very, sorry to say, not wise idea, because simply you have the 69 anyway in any relationship. This is what the research has been proven across the board, disasters or masters. You have it's like the computer that has the virus and you are removing the cover. It's built inside of you. So it is much easier and much better to work on your marriage and better this relationship than going through thinking or assuming, or it will be outside, I will be better. I'm not saying this that you are stuck in marriage. I'm not saying this. I'm not asking you to live miserably. No, I'm saying that the more we are genuinely, wholeheartedly trying to work things out with the presence of God, with the power of the prayer and the work of the Holy Spirit inside of the couple, it is a completely different setting. So when there is issues, if we are married and there has been issues before marriage, out of my integrity, out of my love, out of my care, that we need to seek therapy or we need to seek help in this issue. And it will be the best thing if you are that secure and that trusting to your spouse or your spouse to be, that you can even invite them to those counseling sessions to see what you are going through. So it is important to be aware of this, that we are bringing whatever, it's like a baggage that we are taking. All the frustrations or the pain or the trauma, all the distrust, all the behavior that I liked, all the behavior that triggered me, all my bringing up or seeing my mom and dad dealing with each other. This is the blueprint of marriage that I have seen. This is my graduate degree in marriage because this is how I saw mom and dad. I'm not telling you this to take this out of context and start blaming or criticizing or ridiculing or putting down your spouse because he or she is having problems or their parents are having problems. No, this is not the case. I'm saying that you are bringing all this together in the relationship. What happens is this triggers a lot of triggers. It brings up issues that are perpetual, that needs to be worked on with an open mind, away from the four horsemen, and using the antidotes for everyone. So money management is a big topic, and there is a lot of challenges when it comes to money. The number one challenge is 2 career marriages. My income, his income, her income, how much money you make. And the more, do you know what TEAM stands for? TEAM, together, everyone achieves more. When we are in a team setting, when we are working, thinking together, it is not my money, it is not your money, we are. By the way, the church is not saying you should have a joint account and you should not have a separate. The church, we don't get in it is your preference, it is your decisions, it is your money, it is not our money. We have nothing to do with your money. But I'm just brainstorming with you a couple of options. The first, I call it the okay option. Adam's account, Eve's account, Adam and Eve's joint account, and they put everything in the joint account. Whatever Adam has before marriage and whatever Eve has before marriage, it is separate. This is their own money from their parents, from whatever. And the day they start together, the day their future finances is together. A second, a very good option. This is an okay option or a good option. A very good option is, you know what? Everything is together. We pull everything together. We live off the same bank account. Everything is in the same. We spend the same. Everything is coming outside of the same account. The toxic setting is Adam's account, Eve's account. Adam doesn't have access to Eve's, Eve doesn't have access to Adam, and everybody is in the dark. And what's happening with the money, how much money they are making, how much money they are, and all the questions starts kicking in, and you pay this, no, you pay this, but I know that you have money in I'm assuming, it's ending in a very, very negative way. So what I'm saying, we don't recommend having separate accounts and blocking each one out from the accounts and dealing with a very, very tit for a tat approach when it comes to finances, because the more things are not transparent, the more people are assuming, the more the mind is going, okay, you know what, this might happen, maybe he's cheating on me, maybe he's gambling, maybe she's overspending, maybe she's giving money to her family. All the ideas. And here, no settlement. We feel that we are breaking up or we are growing apart from each other. So the two career marriages, my income, your income, her income, the first okay, or the good option, Adam account, Eve's account, and they have you can give them each other an access to know or to be aware, and the joint account that we put the things from ongoing, moving forward. Or everything together and everything is ours and we are one. The toxic one, we're in the dark, we don't know what's going on with income, and this creates a lot of issues in the future. So the one income marriage, the challenge is sometimes I'm making the money, you just obey. Or I'm making more money, you just follow. It doesn't work like this. The toughest job ever is the single mom or the mom that is staying with kids all day long and ask any of the men that they are saying, she's staying home doing nothing. Okay, طب خليك وريني كده برم. Show me how long you can stay with the kids in the home alone. And let us have really a conversation after this. It's very tough. I personally, after a couple of hours with the kids, you are exhausted, you cannot think, you are very tense, it's overwhelming, but don't put them down because they are choosing not to work, because they are doing a much more valuable thing for the family. So don't brag about your income. Another challenge is spending versus saving. And this is one of the things that someone was always spending and someone was always saving. It needs to reach a reconciliation setting. But if someone is very, very overspending to the extent that can make the whole family sink or drown in debts, this is very risky. It needs really to be set clear boundaries in this and say, you know what, we need to address this, because very, very few times I recommended people, after they had the joint account, to go back to option number one, Adam's account, Eve's account, Adam and Eve's account. Because the guy was spending like crazy, taking loans, signing her signature on the loans. She is not aware, the debt is increasing. It's going out of control. No, you are not in a relationship to abuse your spouse. You are in a relationship to honor them, to respect them, to move forward, to be living with integrity when it comes to money. Budgeting versus borrowing. Many times you find people are okay, as the example that I shared with you yesterday, you have a very nice car, working, no problem, paid off, enjoy the car and enjoy the free payment, and utilize this money for something, retirement plan, life insurance plan, whatever. But it is very important to be, I will share with you the budgeting Excel sheet. If you can remind me, because I didn't give it on the flash drive. I shared the flash drive with all the talks, all the PowerPoint for anyone who wants to return back to it. And the recording, there is a video recording, and I recorded also audio. So I think everything has been recorded and kept a record of it. So another challenging is paying the bills or using credit cards. I know people who are living all their life paying the interest. Just the interest, just the interest, just the interest. Okay, so what is this? You will never achieve any financial goal ever in your life because you are under debt all your life. So in a setting like this, honesty and transparency, this is a problem, we need to help, we need help in this. Maybe you take one loan, pay off all your debts, and have this loan paid off with one payment. They call it loan consolidation. And do something better with your finances, with a more conscious decision. Another challenge is big investment. Home, how we are going to get the down payment, how much we are going to afford. The big decisions, how much we are going to put in as a family, how much is it from my personal account before marriage, or my personal account before marriage, or this is the money of my mom, or this is money of my dad, but this is our home. All of this is triggering a lot of issues. One of the nice things is to maybe involve someone whom you trust, not your mom, not your dad, not your siblings, someone outside of marriage, outside of the family, maybe more financially savvy, that they can help out if we are stuck in a setting like this. And there are counselors, there are financial advisors as well, that you can go and pay them and guide you in this. So retirement planning and life insurance. I will tell you a story. Very sad story of a 32-year-old man playing with his daughter, 4 or 5 years old, got a huge headache, went to the restroom, started throwing up, he had stroke, and he died in that day. It was in our church. Very, very, very heartbreaking story. And the first thing that came to mind after things settled, did this guy had life insurance? Who's going to pay for the expenses of this young family? 2 kids, his wife is not working, huge expenses. And I knew after a while that he had done 2 life insurance. He had life insurance with his work, and he did his own life insurance outside, and they paid a good amount of money. And because of that wise decision that this young man has done in advance, it saved the whole setting. Sometimes we are coming from Egypt and we don't, there is a lot of things that we don't think of, but it is very important to be aware of what will you do in retirement? Are you saving for your retirement? Are you planning this? Are you saving for this goal or not? Because it is very important. when we don't have a long-term goal financially, we keep just spending and spending and spending and spending. And in the end, we don't have money, we'll take loans, and we are in more debt and more sinking and more drowning. Another challenge is, are we going to help financially our parents, our siblings, if they are? The more we are transparent, the more we talk, the more we say, communicate before taking action. Oh, by the way, I sent $10,000 to mom in Egypt. What? This is our money, okay? Hey, so you hate mom now? It has nothing to do with hating mom or loving mom. It has to do with an important financial decision that you took on your own without communicating prior to making the decision, and it is our money. So it is important to be proactive in this and be honest and be transparent and really be genuine in this. Because after the fact, when you communicate after, it's very hurtful because you didn't respect the other person. You did already take the decision, cannot reverse it. And it leaves the other party or the spouse feeling hurt and a lot of pain. Giving tithes sometimes, it's an issue. The guy doesn't want to give tithe, and the wife say, no, we should give tithe, and we go in a debate. The easiest setting is when you have the easiest solution for any problem that has a biblical verse. Give me the tithe and test me. The Lord said this. Give me the tithe. God is not saying, I hope so that you will give me the tithe. I highly appreciate it if you will give me It says, give me the tithe. It's an order. So forget about Adam's opinion and Eve's opinion. It is God's will, it's the commandment of God that we are going to do. On a side note, any church that is serving you and your kids should have good part of your donation. Any church that serves you and serves your kids should have a good part of your donation. I lived in Dubai for a while, and I'm confessing here. And all my tithe, I was sending it to poor people in Egypt. Dubai is, the Ferrari cars are even more than it's very spoiled country. So I said, definitely the church doesn't need anything. For years, all the tithe I'm sending it to Egypt. All the tithe I'm sending it to Egypt. Then one time I was speaking with my father of confession, and I told him, I was not a priest in that time, obviously. I told him, by the way, I'm sending my tithe to Egypt. And he told me why. I told him, nobody needs any money. You are in Dubai, guys. You are very rich. So Abuna shared with me some of the expenses of just the building. Just thousands of dollars every month. It's a very, very high expense. So, and Abuna told me, the church that serves you and serves your kids, you have to give part of your donation to it. I'm not going to tell you how big is this amount, but you have an obligation, have a commitment for being there, for sustaining this resource that God has blessed you with. So, general guidelines of money. The problem is the love of money. It is not how much you have. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. The problem is not in how much money you have. The problem is that you love the money more than you love God. Many sad stories. A guy who is making, this is a true one. A guy who is making millions of dollars, and he got introduced to a club, that this club, in order to be in that club, you need to at least make $40 million a year. And he was not that far. So everything was triggered in his mind with greediness to make this amount of money, so as he will be, his status will be joining this group of people, and he will be able to show off that he is that rich. Worked more hours, took more loans, invested more aggressively in real estate, ditched his wife, ditched his kids, ditched church. And this was before the market crash in 2007, 2008. And all his investment was gone in the market, and he filed bankruptcy, and he started all over again. Very, very, very sad story, but the whole point is it was the love of money. After losing your kids, you losing your wife, disconnecting with God, and you were searching for making more money to be that rich and advancing, or this is your status. It is a very sad story. In God we trust. We don't know whom you are talking about, whether it is the dollar, in this God, the dollar itself we trust, or in God we trust. Have you heard about the heresy named prenuptial agreement? Have you heard about this? The prenuptial agreement? Anyone knows what I'm talking about? If you don't know about it, then this is good for you. If you don't know about it, then don't do it. Don't ever do it. Prenuptial agreement is that Adam will be telling Eve, sign this before we get married. So if we are divorcing, you are not going to take any money from mine. What is this? So you are not trusting your spouse on your money, and you are loving your money more than your spouse, and you are putting chances or in your calculation that divorce might happen. What is this relationship? Two questions: why do we get married, and why do we need money? Do you have any answers? Why do we get married, and why do we need money? Okay, it's not, I agree. It's not good to be alone. We get married because we need love and to feel loved. You remember the three things that 80% of the people who are divorcing agreed on? They don't feel close, don't feel loved, and don't feel appreciation. How to reverse this? Start with which one? Appreciation is a key. And why do we get married? Because we need to care and feel cared for as well. Then God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. This message in Genesis 1:28. When money becomes a trap, when money is becoming an obsession, you are obsessed with money, you are working hard for money, and this is all what you are caring for. There is many sad stories about people and money. A guy lost all his wealth in Egypt, in stock market. He killed his wife, he killed his kids, he killed himself. And he wrote a letter of suicide because he lost all his money. There is a very nice book, I don't recall the book, of a CEO here in the US who had a palace that he had nine cars, and the palace had, I don't know, it was like a mansion, 20 rooms, extremely rich, extremely wealthy, and his company fell in the stock market, and he lost everything, and he filed for bankruptcy. And his wife divorced him, his kids left him, because it is all about the money that you are collecting. It's all your identity in what you have. It is not your identity that you are the son or the child of God or the daughter of God. So he hired the room. He worked in Starbucks, and he hired a room that, I don't know how God is sending him messages that this room is having a window, and this window is looking to the palace that he owned a while ago. And he started working in Starbucks from 5 a.m., working extra hours. He picked up, and he became a CEO again. Money does not make you. You make money. Money does not make you, and does not make us, and does not make our kids. You make money. So the obsession that we are after, when you are that obsessed, what happens is we end up, if we lost the money, I lost myself, and people commit suicide because of this. Money as an independent goal. This is a goal that أما الذين يريدون أن يكونوا أغنياء, those who wants to be rich. The Bible is saying that those are people who are going to be hurt the biggest. The goal is not richness. The goal is you live a decent life, you cover your expenses, you save for your retirement, do a life insurance, do college fund for the kids if you can afford it, and enjoy your life. The goal is not to just keep hoarding money just for the sake of it is an independent goal or I'm obsessed with it. Money as a source of security. That when I feel very good when I have this money, that I am secure, so anything will happen to me, I will be able to take care of it. The security is in God, not in money. Because money will not last for a long time, and many people, recently, there is an organization that hackers went in and took from their bank account above $600,000 from the bank account of that organization. And they were very savvy, very smart, and they attacked. $6,000 went like this, just from a hacking event. So what is the source of security that you are speaking about? Money as a source of pride and bragging. That I am in that status, that I am better than you, I have more. Unfortunately, it leaves people more empty, more void, more depressed. Just married to my money and your money. Scenario one, Mr. Buck and Mrs. Christian. He is all about money and she's a very devout Christian lady. Second scenario, Mr. Christian, Mrs. Green. He is very devout, very holy young man, giving tithes, being generous with God, serving, honoring God, and she is all about money and collection and buy this, invest in this, do this, get me this, get me this. And the third scenario is the Mr. Buck and Mrs. Green. This is a hell on earth. Because it's enough. When it comes to money management, communicating in advance is a key. Planning ahead, as this guy whom we, a very devout young man who passed away a couple of years back, he planned his life insurance and it was a life-saving for all the family and for the people who are around him and for his friends and for his family, because at least they had sustenance. And you never know when or how or this will happen. But people who are planning are conscious of this. Budgeting and putting budgets for things, if you have a big goal, communicate this goal, speak about it. Okay, we want to buy a home. How much will be the down payment, this amount of money, how much we can save every month. Maybe we can save $500 a month. Okay, $500 in this amount of years. Then we work together, we save together, we have a budget, we have a plan. It makes the life of everyone easier. Agreeing and taking the permission before major decisions is very important too. Committing time and money for the goal is also very important, and reviewing and adjusting and having, are we on the right track? Should we change? Is this something that we need or this is something that we want? Because many times we buy stuff that we don't need. We buy stuff that we want. I hope for this and I want this and I want this and I want that. Do you really need it? I forgot to tell you, some of the issues sometimes is student loans. Before marriage, I have this amount of loans. It is kicking in. It is affecting our budget big time. It needs to be brought up. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be addressed. Okay, if it is Adam, Eve, and joint account, then the loan of Adam should be paid by Adam. If it is Adam and Eve's joint account only, and there is no separate account, then your loan and my loans, we will be paying it together. And we need to be creative and communicating, planning, budgeting, agreeing, committing, and reviewing. Compulsive spending as a disease. She's stressed out, she goes to the mall, and you see the credit cards bills is going up. She's maxing out on the credit cards, and this is how she copes with stress. So this is a problem, needs to be addressed, and many times it needs to be addressed on therapeutic level as well. Spending as a symptom. So the compulsive, you cannot control it. Spending right and left, the impact on marriage and the family, when very few cases I have seen, but there was a guy who is buying right and left, taking loans right and left, applying for credit cards right and left, debt, and they have everything joint, and she's going to lose everything because he never asked her, he never consented, and he never even accepted her opinion. One of the very few cases that I called one of the aburas, and we agreed on that they will do a legal separation in the court to that extent, to legally separate, because their finances are now, because even if you are not legally, if you are married and you have the same last name, you can correct me, the debt is applying on both, especially if she is also, he is signing on her behalf. So we took a permission of, and we did our homework in this. And after a very long discussions and very long time, the recommendation was file for a legal separation, not to divorce, for a legal separation to separate the finances officially in the legal system of the country. So as if he is in debt, they are after him, they are not after both, or their kids. Are you there? Even if they live together, they can. So it has nothing to do with divorce or that they will separate. Well, but this was the only option that she can be out and save the family, because the amount of debts that he is bringing in is unbelievable. He can manage whatever it is his decisions. And now it is his decisions, and you want, this will impact him, her, and the kids. So it was not fair. Because this was not the first decision that after years of they reached the dead end. So this was the approach that they took. And both of them, they agreed. When he is not in that phase, he knows that, I'm ruining everything. And both of them agreed on it. The need for a professional treatment, sometimes if it is something is beyond and excessive, that it needs to be addressed seriously. Also, the addiction, sometimes the compulsive gambling disorder, where people are gambling right and left. I can't forget this. I was invited to what they call it, a recognition gathering for awarding one of the Coptic people in the community is awarding him, and this place was the hall that they have the awarding is part of a huge gambling area. I never been there, so in order to reach the hall that has the awards, you need to pass by all the slot machines, and the first thing that I can't forget, Do you know people who are on wheelchair and they have tubes and they are they are seriously sick. They have even support for breathing and oxygen. And I found too, I said, they are, what are they doing in a gambling place? And I found them playing. And they are full of energy and they are spending money like, sometimes it reaches an addiction that it needs to be addressed. And now the online gambling and the gaming online is crazy. It's crazy, and they are making hundreds of millions of dollars. So the feeling of insecurity because of the lack of money is also an issue. When I feel that my worth, my self-worth is in what I have as a money, this doesn't define who you are. But in many times we are in a setting that we are feeling insecure, that like this birthday that I was telling you about, the dad is bringing an iPad or an iPhone and Xbox, and why my son should feel less than the others. Actually, it is not your son who is feeling less than the others. It is you who is feeling less than the others, because your value is in how much money you have. It is not that you are the child of God, the priceless, beloved child of God. And glory be to God forever and ever. Amen. If you don't have questions, I will ask you questions. No questions? So did you listen? So they had a joint account. The husband took all the money. He went to Egypt and filed for divorce. Yeah, the guy wasn't. This is. I told you, this is none of the business of the church. It is the finances of the people who are just telling you the options, and they both should agree on whatever is the plan that they are choosing. If I know about someone who is stealing or doing something wrong, this doesn't mean that this applies to me. If it is making me more anxious, then the question is why I'm more anxious about this story that has nothing to do with me. I mean, what is this? Maybe it is a trigger. Maybe it is something that I need to think about or talk with my spouse, as we can really know what's the reasons behind this. Suggestions, ideas, objections? Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. Amen. Alleluia. Zoksevet rike, ioke, agiob pneumatike, nikae, kestosion, astonion, amen. Roche vole god moshioven shois Isus be Christos. Reste videre gone mene gorshainte sotene novi sotimono nai Kyrie eleison Kyrie flogison amines moerois simetania conie vol convies moamin be Christus benutie. O King of Peace, grant us your peace, establish for us your peace, and forgive us our sins. And hear us, O Lord, when we call upon you, thankfully, our Father who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Through Christ Jesus our Lord, thine the kingdom, the power, the glory forever. Amen. May the love of God the Father, the grace of only begotten Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, the gift of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Whoever wants to go, go in peace, and peace be with all. Amen. Last but not least, the gift cards. We got more gift cards actually for more questions.
Thank you, Buddha. She's going to take it from you anyway. So. Before you guys go, for the couples who finished the survey and didn't meet with Abuna, we can start now. It's going to, like you said, 15, 20 minutes max. A lot of food outside, please. That's okay. The winner of the gift card gets to go first.
So can we have a picture together? Sure. It would be nice. Abuna Maximus, perfect timing. Can you help me with this?
طيب ايه الحلاوه دي؟
خليك ابونا في القدام خالص ولا ايه؟ خليك في القدام خالص؟ خليك قدام خالص انت؟
تعال.
It's going to be super tall.
Can you come, Hani? Come, someone who can.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Are you able to?
تعالى يا مايكل بقى هنا. اقف جنبي. اقف جنبي ريم يلا.
Nice one. Perfect.
بعد ما هيك شوف شو نسيت ألف شكر.
individual pictures ولا لا؟